Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to your darling program, Ramadan Mubarak. This is the lecture segment, and it's a segment that this particular segment is a segment we hold every year, about 2-3 episodes, because it's a special segment. Special segment in the sense that we call it Crew Hangout. It's a segment where we select topical topics that the crew members will have to discuss in total. In this edition of Ramadan Mubarak, this is the first episode of the Crew Hangout. We hope to have about 1, 2, 3 episodes, but we are starting with the first episode on this your darling program. I have my crew members here seated, and of course they are ready for us this morning. I have Ustaz Abdul Rashid Jato in the house. Ustaz, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Now we are looking smarter this morning. Alhamdulillah. We also have engineer Ustaz Abdul Rahman Dawood in the house. You are very much welcome, sir.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. This morning we shall be looking at a topical topic, a topic that is very essential, very important to our being, a topic that we see as either building a society or lead to the deviation or mar a society. I'm talking about the topic youth deviation. Youth deviation, symptoms, causes, consequences, and of course the Islamic solution. Having discussed all these things, it is not proper we'll leave it bare after discussing problems and whatever. Let us see how to prefer solutions to whatever we shall be discussing today. Of course, you know time is never our friend in this program, so we'll have to keep the ball running. But we have some indices here in this topic that we have to explain to our viewers to let us know what they mean so that the topic will be well understood. Let me start with Ustaz Abdul Rashid Jato. They said youth. When we say youth, who is a youth? What do we mean by youth?
Well, alhamdulillah, the topic, the word youth is very important, and that is why in the Quran you see several references to the issue of the concept of youth. When Allah was talking about Ibrahim, Ibrahim, the environment, people were worshipping idols. If they just got fed up with the whole parties, worship idol, not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he went there and destroyed everything. I said the biggest one, of course, as one in the story. Now, the people came and they were wondering who has done this. Somebody said, there's one youth who has been always talking against this idol. His name is Ibrahim. Allah specified that stage of his life, youth. Then again, Allah told us about some youth in the Quran. This is what to carve. It says, Inam Kitiyatun Manu Birobin was now Hunda. And then the youths who believe in their Lord and will increase them in guidance. And we also find some lights in the sayings of the Prophet. The Prophet says also there are two, I think I'll make reference to now. He said that we should use, nobody will move on the day of judgment until Allah has asked him 4 fundamental questions. One of the questions is about his life. How he used his life. Another thing was about his youthful age. On what did he exhaust that aspect of his life? It's not about his entire life. Now specify out his youthful age. How did he use it? The last thing on that is that the Prophet said, use 5 things before 5 other things catch up with you. One of the 5 things he said, your youthful age. Before old age catches up with you. So Islam is interested in that stage of our life. You know, people will say a youth is someone that is between 18 and 40 years old. You know, it's that stage that a person is highly energetic, he can do and do. And except he's guided, the youth have the capability to break down entire society.
Now, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think you have further broadened this topic. You know, from what I understood, from what you have said now, youth deviation. That youthfulness. You made mention of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and going to destroy an idol. That is going away from the norm in the society. It tells me that there could be positive deviation, there could be negative deviation. Ustaz Abdurrahman Dawood, please. When we say youth deviation now, what do we mean? Are we looking at it in the positive side or in the negative side?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. When we say deviation, we are saying you are derailing from what is known. You know, you are taking a path that is antithetical to the path that is known. You know, so that is deviation. Deviation, we usually it connotes negativity. You know, when you say deviation, it usually connotes negativity because everything we want to achieve is something. Everybody wants to do good. Everybody wants to achieve something good. But when you say something has deviated or somebody has deviated, it means they have deviated from the good path. So when it's youth deviation, the topic that we're looking at is in the negative sense.
Yeah.
So we have youths. In fact, youth, they are how will I call it now? They are the strength of every society. And Imam Hassan al-Banna rahimahullah, he said in one of his treatises that the yardstick for measuring, to measure the strength of any nation is measured from the strength of its youths. That if its youths are righteous, then the nation will be righteous. If its youths are not righteous, then that society cannot be righteous. So the youths actually determine how the fulcrum, where the pendulum swing in the society. So that is why a society that does not have youths or does not have, does not cater for the youth, so society will not live so long, because after a while, when those that are elderly have moved away, have gone, who will take over from them? So that is youth. Youth deviation actually is moving away from when the youth who are crucial to the society begin to take a path that is negative in terms of to themselves now, negative to the environment they live in and to the larger society. So that is youth deviation.
Okay, thank you so much. I could see Ustaz Abdurrashid Jatto while you were talking, nodding in agreement. And I know that you have one or two things to say about youth deviation too, because I asked, is it in the negative or in the positive light? Because I understand that Ibrahim, from your explanation, deviated positively, but he is explaining the negative aspect, and he said he wants to concentrate on the negative aspect here. What do you have to say? You deviation.
Generally, when they say deviation, it's always connotes it is generally used in negative sense.
No.
It's what they call ma'ruf in Islam. Ma'ruf means something that is good, but usually it means something that is no. What it means is that goodness is something that is innate, it's part of us. Prophet said, "Kul bani Adam, you are a picture. That every child is born on that part of goodness. It is environment that parents experience, peer, and what have that made that child to deviate from the part of goodness that God has created him. So the word deviation generally is used in negative sense. So that of Ibrahim, we cannot call it a deviation because he is on the path that God has created him.
Yeah.
It is the environment that deviated. That's why he was revolted against them. So worship Allah who created you, now worship you idol. You went to just imagine, look at this picture, you went to the bush, cut down a tree, carry it to a slaughter, you start buying before it. It's a deviation from the path God has created you. God created us to worship him. So when you observe this deviation, he decided to teach them a lesson. When they destroyed them, and the people gathered and said, why you do this kind of thing to our God? He asked them, ask this one that is carrying the ass. But this cannot talk like, you understand? So what we are saying is that deviation generally it's in negative sense.
I think you've explained what I was trying to get, because Engineer Abdurrahman initially explained that the division they are talking about is moving away from the norm, and this norm we know is the norm that the Quran has put in place for us.
Yes.
Now, if the people of Ibrahim has deviated from that norm, Ibrahim only came to correct them, to try to put them straight. So I want to get what you have said, but we cannot understand this fully except we look at some symptoms. We are just explaining you deviation, whatever, but can we get any of these symptoms so that when we see XYZ in any youth, we know that this guy is trying to, they will now know how to intelligently, wade into his issue. Let's look at symptoms.
One of the things you are going to see is that they will move away from the path that God has laid out for them. That is neglecting religious obligations.
No.
They know that's for that. They not fast Ramadan. As your first answer, some youths are not fasting. And you see the obligations generally, they know the obedience to their parents, no respect for elders. So both religiously, socially, and what have you, even emotionally and psychologically, you see them misbehaving in a way that when somebody misbehaving, you will know. You will know because goodness to be good, to be righteous is innate. When you see something that is abnormal, you will just know that without being told. So religiously, they'll be found wanting in the charge they are to their creator, Allah. Then they will see them involving in things that are antisocial. Is it drug trafficking, cyber crime, prostitution, then again social behavior. Kidnappers are, most of them are, I won't say an elderly person.
Except maybe those the gang leaders that they will come and report to. Because elders are not
there. Show, on TV.
Nah.
They are youths, right? They are youths. So you see they're engaging in things like that. These are some of the signs that I'm going to see in the society where you have youths who have deviated from the right path.
Okay, before I go to, because I still like to ask the cause of all this, because we cannot have all this without a reason. If you meet them, they tell you reason. Kidnappers will tell you, maybe government has neglected us. Is that enough reason? But before we go there, I know Engineer Dawood, we want to add to some causes too. If you have causes to add to this reason why youth deviate, please let's hear.
Now, a lot of things, a lot of reasons are available. They are banned in our society why youths actually derail from following what is right. One of those reasons is when they have weak, upbringing, whether it is religious upbringing or a normal social upbringing. When you have a weak upbringing, it affects you. And I'll divide this into two. Now, if you have a broken family, for example, the parents are no longer together, that child suffers from parental care, and so the upbringing will be taunted. And when you have such type of persons, they feel that sense of they don't belong to the normal society where everyone is being cared for. So that is one of the reasons why we have youth deviation. Another thing is when you have negative peer influence. The Prophet has now says your religion is the religion of your friend. So whatever your friend is doing, it influences you. And so if he's doing what is negative, it influences you negatively. So, and a lot of influence we see today in our society, such as drug, drinking, alcoholic, clubbing, and so on and so forth. These are our youth today. They are just wasting away their life. The purpose of life, they have not seen it. They just feel that everything should be entertainment. And this is it's not going to help them themselves, and it's not going to help the society. Yeah. Another thing is influence of social media and the so-called Western culture. The influence of social media, in fact, it cannot be overemphasized. A lot of things have happened in the social media space where we have heard so much stories that you'll be wondering. You know, social media, you see YouTube engaging in the, how would I call it now? They engage in pornography, for example, you know, pornographic content. Then another thing is distance, this 419 or Yahoo. It happens in the internet space more often than not. You know, hardly this day will you see somebody come to you and trick you to collect your belongings. Even if he does that, he will not collect more than what he will collect in the internet. And so that is one of the things that is affecting the youth today. And when you want to live above your lifestyle, you see some lifestyle in the social media. People flaunt different kind of lifestyle that is not natural. It's not what they are living in real space. They flaunt it in social media. People will just snap different things, cars, big houses, and place in the social. You think this is for them. However, it is not as it is in the social space. So the youth are influenced. They are affected by that. You want to follow celebrity. You want to follow these celebrities themselves. Need the information because their lifestyle does not tell good about a person that is well brought up.
I tell you, most of them or some of them, because there are some that may be exceptionals. There are some that so let us say most of them, so we don't fall corporate.
Most of them,
okay.
Their lifestyle. Of course, you can't tell me. In fact, you see some that are praising Yahoo, for example. Maybe in the music space, they praise it. They flaunt the nudity in the space. So these are not models for us to follow. Islam has made completely different thing when it comes to taking care of the youth and the society. These are some of them. Let me just expatiate more on the issue of peers, because this is one of the things. Because you find out that in our society today, there are sets of youth. They move together. They drive in the same car together. Yeah. They do a lot of things together. For example, look at if you go to some higher institutions, you'll find out that even among the female students, they are not free from drug, from alcoholism. They take hard drugs, and you'll be wondering, you'll be baffled that even the female folks that you think they are cool-headed and so, you'll be baffled when you see a woman, a lady, maybe you go close to her, you'll be perceiving the smell of not just cigarette now, because I think they don't see cigarette as anything. So these hard drugs, and even when government have banned some of these tobacco or drugs, they still get it in one way or the other. So society still.
In fact, I tell you that I was in a gathering where people were discussing, and the advice generally is that if you see a friend taking a bottle of soft drink, I wouldn't want to mention any brand, a bottle of soft drink, be careful not to meet him to take a sip. Because right now, it is not about the alcohol, that soft drink they are taking, they must have mixed with different things that according to them will make them high. And some of these things they mix it with, so might not even be this alcohol. They mix it with normal drugs that you take when you are even here, like cough syrup or whatever, and with other things. So our youth out there, we like to advise, when you see somebody taking any soft drink, he has opened and he has started taking, please just hold your peace, because you wouldn't know what exactly is inside. I would like you to contribute to this, because this courses is very vital, but that is after I introduce again. If you are just joining us, respected viewers at home, we are looking at youth deviation, symptoms, causes, consequences, and the Islamic solution. We will look at the solution the world has preferred, then we will narrow it down to the Islamic solution, so that our intention is to see that our youths live a better life, because we are all youth. Ustaz Abdurrashid Jatto, I'd like you to contribute to the courses so that we expound on it.
Well, I think it's part of the courses is relation to poor, faulty upbringing, the family front now, is lack of engagement, in terms of job,
Yeah.
source of income. And I think it's an area the government really needs to come in. The youths are not, many of them are not gainfully engaged. Though it's quite obvious that some of them want something that is, is it quick rich syndrome?
Yeah.
That's patience and joy in hard work is not right there anymore. They want to get rich overnight. That's why when there are opportunities, they don't tend to be interested. However, one of the causes, like I said, is lack of engagement. They are not gainfully employed. They are not gainfully engaged in meaningful jobs. So they want to. So that's why some of them will take to crime and so on and so forth. Though it's not an excuse anyway.
And I wanted to ask, is that enough reason?
It's not enough reason at all. Then, who are the kind of persons that the society portray as role models? It's another issue. So, when society keep portraying that kind of persons who have made it, regardless of how they made it, everybody wants to be like them.
Yeah.
So that's why people, and I said, you tell that excuse is scam. You don't want to endure the hardship, so to say, of going through the educational system from secondary, primary, secondary, university. You just want to shortcut. You want to bypass all this and go rich overnight. So,
Okay, thank you. We are going to open our phone lines now because we want to start talking about whatever we do in this life should have consequences, So we'll start talking about the consequence, but let us announce to our respected viewers at home that at this point they can actually join this discussion because we have lots of youths listening to us, and of course we have parents listening because from your discussion they are also corporate to this issue. So we open the lines now so that they join this discussion. Our phone numbers once again is 09044362225. Is displayed on your screen. I call it again 09044362225. Ustaz Aboshijato, I also want to start with you. Consequences.
Yes, let me start from the consequences on the society. It's very important. Once you are there is a protest, 99% of the time is championed by the youths.
No.
And
Sorry, we have a caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please, your name and location.
Iraike Ahmed from Upper Sukumba.
Iraike Ahmed, thank you so much. Please, can you join now? You have a question? Let's see.
Yes, I have a question. I've listened carefully. Firstly, I want to appreciate you guys for the topic. But the aspect of the age bracket for youth, I don't think it was mentioned, or maybe probably when you mentioned it, I wasn't paying attention. I want to know the age bracket of the youth so that even me that is talking to not know if I am still in the youth bracket or I've left the youth bracket, and even my guy with some white hair on his head there to know whether he's still a youth or not a youth, so that I will not know that if you are indirectly talking to me or it is for other people, so I'll be able to position like that.
Well, thank you so much, Alhaji Ahmed Iraike. Whether you are still in the bracket of youth, mind you, it was mentioned between 18 to 40, but whether you are in this bracket or not, just do the right thing.
Yeah.
I think I know you so well that even though you are above 40, your stature still tells that you are a youth. So the topic is still addressing you. Sorry, we have another caller on the line. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Your name and location, please.
Hassan Momo is my name. I want to thank the crew members for this topic I'm going to do. And my questions are these. Number one, what are the solutions? Because now when you say the now they're imitating what they're thinking what they're doing is right. So how do we correct this norm in society?
Okay.
What do we say? If you start from the parents, the teacher, their students, and society. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. He's talking about solutions. We are coming there, although time is running faster than we thought. But let us just be hitting the nail on the head now so that we can address solutions.
consequences in society, increase in crime rates, drug abuse, fraud, and violence, and so on and so forth. moral and moral and social moral decadence, corruption, then loss of future leader. You know, I was just saying that when all of these protests I once witnessed, you just see youths. Some are just drinking one corner, smoking one corner. Some are just dancing and with women. And they say the future of the society of this country is the youth. Rest of the youth. And I ask myself that if these are the youths that are the future leader of this country, that means not to get future in this country. So it's slaves doom. So if the youth are not put on the right track, that means the society has no future.
Man, I don't know if it's a deliberate attempt to wipe out the youth, because even when we talk about drugs, if you watch it, those selling the drugs are either very mature women with children and men. So I don't know if it's a deliberate attempt, but that's just by the way. Engineer Abdulrahman, I'm trying to look at the time, and it's running so fast. Yeah, solutions. But before solution, of course, you will contribute.
Because he has mentioned its consequences to the society. Let's say consequences to the individual themselves. You know, one of the things that the consequence of this deviation, weak deviation, is the fact that you have loss of purpose of this in this life, and identity. Not when youth lose purpose, they will do anything they want to do.
Yeah.
So, and that is a fundamental issue. There is this hadith of the Prophet Islam. It was related in At-Tirmidhi. Prophet Islam said, it was narrated by Anas bin Malik. He said, "Ma kanat al-akhiratu ammahu ja'ala Allahu ginahu fi qalbi wa ja'ala lahu shamlahu wa atatuhu dunya wa hiya radima." Prophet Islam said, whoever strive, work for the hereafter, ja'ala Allahu ginahu fi qalbihi. He said, Allah will will bring richness to his heart. وَجَعَلَ شَمْلَهُ. Again, Allah will gather his affairs for him, organize his affairs. If he has wife, if he has children, Allah will make them to be good, will not have problem. Then he said, وَأَتَتِهُ الدُّنْيَا وَهِيَ رَاغِمَةٌ. Even though he is looking for the hereafter, and so he is not too concerned about the affairs of this world, he said this world will come to him. He is not looking for riches. He is looking for Allah's pleasure. Allah says, we will make this world to come to him. However, the reverse. وَمَنْ كَانَتْ الدُّنْيَا أَمَّهُ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ فَقْرَهُ بَيْنَ عَيْنَيْهِ. That whoever is pursuing this world, because why I'm saying this is, the youth usually, there's this slogan, they say, YOLO, you only live once, and so you have to do anything you want to do, and you have to collect all the money you need to collect now, you only live once. That is not correct. So, whoever take this dunya, its own existence, its own idea about this life is just get anything you can get. You know, if it is women, those are women, just collect as much. So if that is the purpose of their existence, then say, whoever take this dunya as their own aim, their sole aim, he said, جَعَلَ اللَّهُ فَقْرَهُ بَيْنَ عَيْنَيْهِ. Allah will put poverty in between their eyes. Now, the scholars now explain that this statement can mean two things. He said that Allah will bless the person with poverty, or he may be rich in the sense of richness, having possessions, but he will be afraid of poverty, continuously being afraid of poverty, and that will make him to always want to pursue the richness. Then he said, وَفَرَقَ عَلَيْهِ شَمْلَهُ. Allah will destroy all his affairs will be scattered. He will not be organized. Anything he's doing is neither here nor there. وَلَمْ يَأْتِهِ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَا قُدِرَ لَهُ. In fact, this is the most important one.
Yes, just hit that on the head so we can take some.
When he is, rushing to go and get these things, Allah will only give him that which Allah has decreed for him. Nothing more, nothing less. No matter how he struggles to handle all of this. Now, solutions. Because when you have causes, then you must have solution that goes with it. So some of the causes we have highlighted, we said weak parental upbringing, for example. So the solution would be the parents proper upbringing. So we need to, our parents need to ensure that their children are not orphaned even when they are alive.
I think the problem there is that we have missed it. We missed it because in those days we know that when you give birth to a child, then you are not the only one in control of that child. Your neighbor can come and say, hey, my friend, what are you doing? They correct your child. But these days, mothers feel that the pain they are going through now, the labor pain they are going through, nobody has gone through it before. So when you talk to their children, they come and say, oh, how dare you? How dare you? Why did you make him cry? Why did you make her cry? And we see things going bizarre. You know, that's a problem we have now.
One of the solution is proper, like a proper upbringing, religious teachings. Very, very important. Religious teaching. Children need to be taught about God. There should be a conscious effort by the parents, by the teachers, and in the schools, society, the government. It should be a conscious effort to bring the children up, bring the youth up, religiously, God conscious. And the government also has a law. That's why I can't appreciate what the government is doing. You know, there are those that are made law against courtesy, right? The government must play their role. As the saying goes, after God, now government. When the government is not doing what is right, what is supposed, what will guide the youth, then you can expect.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Abdulrahman. Your last word in 30 seconds.
Well, the youth they are the leaders of the society, so they must take responsibility. Allah has given us 3 essential life cycle: the stage of weakness, just as he said in Surah to Rum, Allahu Lazi that 3, the stage of weakness, which is when we are in the childhood, then the stage of strength, the youthful stage, and finally the stage of weakness again, when we now leave the youthful stage to old age.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's how far we can go, respected viewers. You know, time is never our friend on this program. Of course, we have to stop here because I always say, one of my teachers told me that it is better to stop as at the time people want you to continue. Just go, internalize what you have heard, and then maybe probably there will be another opportunity for us to add to what we have said. Respected guests, I want to appreciate your presence and your handling of the topic. May Allah continue to reward you abundantly. Respected viewers at home, this is how far we can go. We'll pause now for the next segment, which is the quiz segment, to come up. Before then, I remain your brother Lukman Abdul Qadir KMC DY. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.